9414.
9414.
Maybe transport one adult female from this location to an address.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Cody here at the Phillipsburg Emergency Squad. I'd like to welcome you guys to the first episode of our Fleet Tour series. So behind me here, I have our Rescue 94.5, which is a 2006 GMC C4500 built by KME. It's a four-wheel drive truck. It's basically our rolling toolbox on wheels that we use for tech rescue, vehicle rescue, things of those nature. Let's take a look and see what's inside of it. All right, guys, first stop of our tour is going to be the cab area. This is where our rescue technicians sit when we go en route to an assignment. So it's very basic up here. We have our normal vehicle stuff like our headlights, taillights, all that good stuff. In the center here, this is our control system for our emergency lighting. On the top, we have our siren controller. Next to that, we have our aerostick control to direct traffic away from the vehicle, away from the scene, try to keep our manpower safe when we're on the location. Down below here, we have our radio to communicate with our county dispatch center and between each other and other incoming resources. So some of the things that this truck would respond to are motor vehicle accidents, water rescues, technical rescues, rope rescues. Some of our biggest calls are EMS assists. So generally on our BLS ambulances, we have 2 EMTs on board. Sometimes you need a little bit of additional assistance to get a patient out of a location. So we try to keep this staffed just about every day with at least 2 people. Our guys will come out and they'll just come out there being an extra set of hands for our EMTs. A lot of times it's just a lift assist or extricating somebody from the second story of a house where we need like a Stokes basket or reeves or something along those lines. But the majority of our calls on this are motor vehicle act. We also have a Polaris side-by-side that we use as well to extricate people from wooded areas where the trucks can't get to, so we don't have to carry somebody all the way out. All right, guys, so working our way back to our first compartment here. This is our onboard generator. So this runs our tripod lights in the front and back. There's also a large light tower up on the roof as well to illuminate scenes. On our bottom shelf here, we have our winch. We use this to stabilize vehicles, move large objects. We have a hookup point on all 4 sides of the truck so we can pull from any side of the vehicle. And here we have some collapsible cones just to make sure our scenes are secure when we're out on the highways. We have road flares. We have some glass breaking tools and spanner wrenches. Working our way back to our second compartment here. So inside here, we carry most of our hand tools. So we have forcible entry tools, high lift jacks to stabilize vehicles and lift some larger objects. Down on the bottom, we have our caution tape, wheel chocks, box lights. We have our triangles, again, for roadways, just to make sure our scenes are secure. All right, so working our way back to our second compartment. In here, we have most of our basic hand tools that you'd see on most emergency apparatus. We have forcible entry tools like the Halligan bar. This is used to force your normal interior, exterior doors on the structure. We also have some various sledgehammers, high lift jacks for stabilizing vehicles, lifting vehicles off of pedestrians pinned underneath the vehicles. We have our ladder in case we have to access something up high or get into a second-story window if somebody is stuck inside a building. So we actually had a situation a few months back where there was a dog attack. The dog was still loose inside the house, and we had a female party that barricaded herself on the second story, which was bleeding pretty bad from her injury she sustained. So we used our little giant ladder. Myself and one of the paramedics entered through the second-story window and started patient care while we waited for animal control to get the dog out of the residence. Also inside here, we have our Stokes basket, which is used for rope rescue, extricating people from wooded areas, basic places where you can't get a stretcher or things of that nature. At the bottom, we have our wheel chocks, just to make sure our truck is secure. It's not going to roll anywhere when we're operating with our winch and things along those lines or on a steep incline. We have caution tape, gowns to make sure our technicians are safe and not being exposed to anything they shouldn't be. So coming back to our middle compartment, inside here we have some extra turnout gear storage for our technicians that are normally on the vehicle. So our rescue foreman keeps his gear in here. He's our driver 90% of the time. He's usually staffing the truck. We also have our light tower control inside here. On top of the truck, there's a big boom that comes up that has multiple lights on it that we can spin around 360 degrees, rotate it up and down, just to give us a little bit more illumination on a dark scene at night. We also have some full-size wood 4x4s in here if we have to crib up vehicles or structures, anything of that nature. We also have some more shovels and basic hand tools to clean up debris from motor vehicle accident scenes, things of that nature. All right, moving on to the rear compartment. So in our driver's side rear compartment and the back compartment of the vehicle. This is most of our vehicle stabilization equipment. So inside here we have various sizes of struts. We use these to stabilize overturned vehicles, structural collapses, like if you have a porch collapse after a vehicle strikes it or something along those lines. We'll use our rescue struts to shore it up, just to make sure it's secure. We're not going in somewhere where we're gonna have something collapse on top of us. We also have some various chains and come-alongs, again, to stabilize vehicles. We have various different tips that we use on top of our rescue struts. So this is a shorter strut here. So you'll have your tip that goes on, clicks in place, and then this allows us to make a purchase point in the vehicle itself, push that up inside. In this compartment here, we have base plates for the struts. So you'll pull a base plate, and then you'll pull whichever size strut you need for the situation, and this will come down and click in place into the base plate and give it a good solid foundation. And then from there, you have a D-hook on the bottom. You'll hook a strap from that to a steady location, just to make sure the bottom of the base plate doesn't kick out. And starting on the top shelf, we have our various different chains for shoring and securing vehicles and structures. We have all of our various tips inside here, different tips for different situations, for shoring vehicles, houses, structures, large objects, things along those lines. We have 2 racks of straps to secure our struts to our solid location. More various handholds in here. So we have what's called a glass master. These are a combination of window punch and window saw to take out glass in vehicles. So on one side, you'll have a sharp point, so we use to actually break glass and make a purchase point for the actual Glassmaster saw side. So on a windshield, what we would do is take this, we would strike the windshield somewhere around the middle or a corner, make a hole in it, then you'll flip it around, put your blade in, and you'll saw it out, just like a normal saw you'd see in a toolbox. There's also some various hammers and things of that nature in there. We have some more chain on the bottom, another come along to move heavy objects, and then we have our 20-pound ABC fire extinguisher as well, just for safety precaution. All right, so moving to the rear of the vehicle. This is our second stabilization compartment. So any motor vehicle accident, we're gonna be working mostly out of this compartment and the rear compartment on the driver's side. So starting from the bottom, we have our various types of wooden cribbing. So we have just a normal short lengths of 4x4s, 2x4s. We have our various step chocks inside here, which come in a kit, various wooden wedges. We also have some platforms as well. So what happens is when you have a motor vehicle accident, before you can do anything with the vehicle itself, we need to make sure that it's secure. So what we'll do is we'll set up wooden cribbing on all 4 corners of the vehicle, and we'll build them up sort of like Lincoln logs, bring it all the way up to the frame of the vehicle. And then on top of the pile, we'll drive a wedge in just to make sure there's no up and down movement on that vehicle itself. Coming up here to the middle shelf, we have some more extensions for our struts and some of our shorter struts that you've seen in the driver's rear compartment. We have our airbag system. If we need to move vehicles or heavy objects, if you have somebody pinned underneath the vehicle, we can use the airbags to lift that vehicle up off of them. These are a heavy-duty rubber construction with metal reinforcing on the inside of them. We have various different sizes. So what happened is we have protective mats that go down on the ground first. So what we do is we would lay the mat down, the airbag would go up on top of it, and then we'll take another protective mat just to prevent any piercing or damage to the airbag itself. Then we have air lines in this kit here that hook up to the fitting on the airbag and allow us to inflate the airbag, lift it up, so we can get that extra clearance that we need to get somebody out from underneath the vehicle. All right, coming around to the passenger side rear compartment on Rescue 94.5, we have more various air and hand tools inside here. So we have your normal run-of-the-mill impact wrenches, an air chisel in case you need to tunnel into a vehicle. You can use this to cut the actual sheet metal in the vehicle. More various air fittings, some of our chemicals. We have our SCBA cylinders to actually run the airbags themselves. They are air powered, so that way they're portable. Chainsaws, some more various chemicals like oil, motor oil, bar oil, things along those lines. We have our basic toolboxes with hand tools, sockets, wrenches, screwdrivers, things along those lines. We have our speedy dry, which is essentially cat litter. We use that on motor vehicle accidents when we have fluids down the ground like oil, coolant, transmission fluid, just to soak it up so it's not running down the road. We have our basic PPE inside here, with Sawzall up top, and then some more air lines as well, just so we can use our air tools and such off our SCBA cylinders. All right, moving on to the next compartment on our Rescue 9405. So this is actually a pull-through compartment, so it can actually slide out both directions from the driver's side and passenger side. You guys saw the other side of the compartment already. So this side is set up similar. We have some more turnout gear for some of our other rescue associates that are normally here staffing the truck. We have our first out bag for treating patients. We also have our Milwaukee leaf blower for cleaning up accident scenes, a manifold for our airbag system, and we also have 2 generator lights as well to illuminate scenes at nighttime. All right, moving on to our last 2 compartments. These kind of go hand in hand with each other, so I'm going to run through both of them at the same time. In here, our bottom rollout shelf, we have just some various electrical extension cords, some face masks, some blankets to cover up patients inside vehicles. So when we're breaking glass, generally what we'll do is we'll break the glass furthest away from the patient. We'll send one of our EMTs inside with PPE on, personal protective equipment. They'll use one of these blankets here to cover the patient up, so when we break glass around the patient, it's not getting all over them. There's also a set of jumper cables in there that you'd see in your normal vehicle. And moving up to the middle shelf, we have our hydraulic pump for our rescue tools, and then our lines as well. You'll see those a little bit later on when we pull them out, get everything running, and show you how they work. This is the Stokes basket, again, for getting people out of remote locations, second stories on houses, if we need to go out a window for a rope rescue or something along those lines. We have our onboard air reels up top and electric as well. And then moving on to here, we have, starting in the bottom drawer, some various medical supplies. We have our gloves, our chargers for our Milwaukee batteries, some caution tape, some biohazard bags if we have anything saturated with blood or bodily fluids. Moving into the middle compartment, we actually have our hydraulic rescue tools that we use to disentangle people from vehicles. So we have our jaws, our cutters, our combination cutter and spreader. Then we have our rams on the other side. You'll see those a little bit later on, the in-depth look. On top here, we have our mass casualty bag, which has our tags and some various medical supplies, things along those lines. And then our technical rescue bag, which has just some various hand tools, rotary tools, things along those nature in case we need to disentangle somebody from machinery in some of our warehouses in town. And some C-collars as well for trauma victims.